Alright guys, good evening. Welcome on board for another late night stream. And this time we are going right into action. Alright guys, good evening. We have discovered a convoy via hydrophone check, and yeah, we were tracking it down, going after the convoy and doing another hydrophone check hour by hour. Gave us a nice line of contacts, which is these, which I could extrapolate to their course, and we were going on a parallel course, overtaking them, and now we are right in front of them. Lots of contacts right in front of us, and the question now is, are they really on that extrapolated course, or are they doing some kind of zigzagging? Yeah, we have to decide that when we get closer. But let me do a very brief introduction. I'm doing the whole playthrough through the campaign, having started in the very beginning of the war in 39 September, and we are already more than 3 years in the war right now. We started with the small Type 2 submarine and some merits so that we could upgrade our ship, our boat, to the Type 7C, which we have now. And yeah, we did a lot of missions. We transferred to La Rochelle and even went to the other side of the Atlantic by the help of the Milk Cow supply U-boats on the way, giving us backup in terms of fuel and supplies. And after having done some operations successfully there in the Western Atlantic, we transferred back to the port of Bergen to do the Arctic Convoys mission, where we are right now. And so we had one mission, patrol mission before this one, which was completely eventless. We didn't run into any single ship or convoy, but now it pretty much looks like we might get some action. So guys, I used to give it a new save, new stream, new save. Here we are now guys, fingers crossed that we get something. Now we are right in front of that broad front of ships. They are coming straight for us, and I already see that there are actually quite some escorts. So this guy is definitely an escort. I have to be careful about it. What's our speed by now? Let's reduce speed to be more sneaky. This one might be an escort as well. I'm not quite sure. I'm using the observation periscope at the moment, because for the observation periscope we get these filters. Without a filter, yeah, okay, so we do have some moonlight. So it's not too bad without the filter. But yeah, fact is that the observation periscope has the larger aperture and the better view in the dark. If we go to the attack periscope, here we see it's definitely much darker, so it is gonna be a problem to finally track them down. Yeah, we need to get closer and then finally gonna switch to the attack periscope probably. Hey Rek, nice to have you in. How are you doing? Hope you had a good Friday. So finally weekend is there. Yeah, we have some moonlight, which is alright. This one is an escort as well, is it? Yeah, maybe not. Hard to tell. So it's still worthwhile to get back to the filter, giving us much better figures. Ooh, ooh, ooh. There is an escort passing by very closely. And there is another one. Yeah, this one is accompanied by lots of escort ships. Maybe we can go for that guy. One escort at 320, which is minus 40. Let's just hope that they don't spot our periscopes in the darkness. So it means that they are somewhere around there. And it doesn't look like it's heading straight for us. So if you ask me, this guy is not going on this due north course, but probably more on a course like 45 degrees. Like that. So, yep, that's what I think. They probably are just about changing their zigzag course. So that's what I saw in the past weeks, in game and months, that the convoys are doing some large scale zigzagging around their main course, like changing course for 90 degrees every half an hour, and when minus 45 plus minus 45 degrees changes of course around their main average course. Here, look at the guy. That's what I think. But let's see what the other guys are gonna do. Some of these ships must be going straight for me. And when this guy has passed by, not recognizing us, this is an escort. Sorry, this is an escort. This is a smaller, one of the smaller merchants. And yeah, let's finally see that we get one of these guys. That's the ones that I want to go for. This one or this one. At the moment it looks like they're heading straight for me, but if my considerations are right, they might be just about, yeah, look at that, they are just about changing their course. $310. So that escort is at 50 minus 50. And finally I would like to, yeah, go on a 90 degrees course for them. So I assume that all these ships are just about changing their course. They were going like this, and now they are changing course like this. So my guess is that they were on a course like that for now, and now they are doing this course here. Like that, and now this changing on another leg. This one would be a nice target. This one is now at 60 degrees, passing by quickly, and let's see. Yeah, this one would be a nice target. Or that one. But they haven't yet finished their changing course. Maybe I should go for that one. At minus 40 degrees.
Bestätige.
Yeah, let's assume that I am right about this. Hi, removed caller. Welcome. So, hope you smoothly slipped into the weekend this Friday. I'm just 15 minutes online. You didn't miss anything. Just about infiltrating that convoy. Hope we still have at least something like an hour of moonlight. That's the one I want to go for.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Yeah, still. I have to be careful that these guys are not detecting us. That's the major risk. They're pretty close. Yeah, maybe I should go for a little bit of silent running now. I just have to keep in mind that while doing silent running, maintenance of torpedoes is not going on. Oh, what was that? I heard something. Let's just hope that this was not somebody firing illumination. Just thought that it got a little bit darker by now. What is this? Go for that guy. So I finished my turn. Velocity. Still think they are going with something like 7 knots, maybe less. Maximum 7. And the angle on bow, give it a first estimate. Port side and relatively shallow angle. Now, him being at what? Plus 30 degrees. So the angle on bow at the moment would be 50 already. I somehow don't feel happy with that. I don't think that it is 50, but let's see, how would it look like if I enter an angle bow of 50. Can't quite believe that. So they are not quite on the course that I guessed, I think. I think I'm gonna have to correct that. They are on a more shallow course towards us.
Zerstörer, 340 Grad.
Oh yeah. Very close. Okay, we should send one of our technical officers for improved depth keeping. Very important. So that we don't broach the surface.
Handelsschiff, 30 Grad.
So, should we stop right now?
Alle Maschinen stopp.
Yes. It's very dark. That's not good. So, did the weather change? I think we have lost the moon. Oh shit. The moon has set. No, the moon is still there. And still we have such a bad visibility. Don't quite understand that. Okay, it's because we are doing silent running. Silent running, definitely. I want to have the red light. Can we do silent run and have red light anyway? Yeah, we will see. Guys, give me the red light. Yeah, we can do that. The game is very flexible. They are passing by at 300 degrees. which is minus 60. Here, if we try to track that one, minus 60 means that the guy is somewhere there. Nope. Stick to that course. Hey guys, nice to have you in. Sorry I'm a bit busy. I just have one eye onto the number of watchers and see it slowly going up. That's great. Good evening, guys. I don't think that this is an angle on bow of 50.
Aktualisieren. Winkel.
Think
5, 3. Bug links.
that's more shallow, more like 30 degrees of angle on bow. Let's check it on the map. So 30 degrees. So that would mean there are more going on a course like that. That's my guess. Yeah, let's briefly check that there is no surprises coming in from that other direction. Okay, this one is closing by. We could give him, maybe we could give him a stern torpedo, we will see. Escort, but pretty far away. Another escort, but also not too close. Yeah, that looks pretty alright. So what do we have here? It's the big one, right? It's the C3. Pretty sure it's C3. Let's correct our course a bit.
Bestätige. Kleine Fahrt zurück.
I want to be on a perpendicular course to them when I fire my torpedoes. Let's briefly check. No. That can't be. Come on. That can't be. Please let this not be true.
Alle Maschinen stopp.
In the darkness. Come on, please. This one is passing by. Let's do a full sweep. Was that? This one. This one. That one is getting close. And here we are with our target. Oh no, that's the problem. No. Where are you? That's him. That's him. That's the guy I want. Distance. It's pretty much of a wild guess in the darkness.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
So we are too far. We are too far away at the moment. Further than I wanted to have it. I don't know, do I faintly hear alarms ringing? Oh shit, are they starting to do that high frequency zigzagging? Let's hope not. Let's hope not. There is this one. And there is another one passing by. Stern. What's with that guy? Is he on fire? That guy looks like he's been shooting at. Seven, 5. Angle on bow, I would say it's almost, say, like that, and the distance, to give it a guess.
Aktualisieren.
And now, what's the maintenance status of the stern torpedo? Okay, they need maintenance urgently. Maybe there is another German submarine on attack at the moment. This one is getting close now.
Kommandant, feindliche Schiffe machen sich gefechtsbereit. Zeit, unseren Mut zu testen, Männer.
Hey Colin, hi, sorry I'm a bit busy. Yeah, it's being put back to April 17th, so it's gonna be my birthday present.
Rohr 5 bewässern. Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Winkel 9, Bug rechts. Geschwindigkeit 7 Knoten.
Come on, give me the sync. Give me the synchronization. Mr. Schultz, please.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Gegnerlage 103, Bug rechts. Los!
So that was this one. That guy is close.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung zum Ziel 5 Meter.
Maybe we are just too close for firing. Oh, shit.
Schwere Schäden.
So, you see there is another submarine around. There is another submarine around.
Rohr 1 bewässern. Rohr 1 bewässert.
They are already going down. Maybe it's a waste of torpedoes.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Gegnerlage 108, Bug links. Gegnerfahrt 5 Knoten. Los! 30 Sekunden. 20 Sekunden. Ja. 10 Sekunden bis Einschlag.
What about the other one? What about the other one? Torpedo. Did it score a hit?
Kommandant, wir wurden von Estik geortet. Kommandant, feindliche Schiffe machen sich gefechtsbereit. Zeit, unseren Mut zu testen, Männer.
What about the other guy? What about the other guy astern? Is it that one? What type of ship is this? It's also C3.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung zum Ziel 1494 Meter. Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Gegnerlage 104 rechts. Gegnerfahrt 7 Knoten.
Torpedoes.
Feindliche Schiffe geben Alarm. Konzentriert euch auf eure Aufgaben.
Hi, Yep. Hi, Aquising. Nice to have you in. Good evening. Yeah, great to have you in. So we are in the middle of convoy action. And this time it pretty much looks like that there are other submarines around. So, Yep, Aquising, how are you? How was your Friday? No.
Kommandant, wir wurden
Shit.
geortet.
I don't know, is it this one? Tribal class. I would guess for this one. Draw 3.6, velocity 10 at the moment, angle on bow. Is it actually closing in or is it?
Wir wurden von Aztec geortet. Wasserbomben in beträchtlicher Entfernung. Rohr 5 bewässern. Rohr 5 bewässert.
Shit, that guy is closing in on us.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Lage 104 links.
Guys.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Winkel 5 links. Gegnerfahrt 10 Knoten. Entfernung 500 Meter.
Give me the stern torpedo. Give it to me. Give it to me, guys.
Los. 40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. 30 Sekunden. Kommandant, wir wurden von Aztec geortet. Feindliches Schiff getroffen.
Wow. Wow. We got that guy. That was a heavy hit. Looks like we did hit his. Yeah. Let's just mark that we must have sunk somebody there and maybe there. Wow. Whoa. And there is another one passing by. Yeah, we don't have any more stern torpedoes. There is a guy sinking. Maybe it was me with the sound-seeking torpedo.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Kurs setzen.
Is this just the coaster? Don't think so. Might be a tanker. It's this one, isn't it? Nah, that's too bad an angle. That would be a waste of torpedoes. I think I should go for that one.
Kurs setzen.
The cassette makes another appearance, yep. Yeah, we got that destroyer. Yeah, let's see if we can go for that one. I think they lost track of us again. Velocity will be 7. Angle on bow. Bit unsure about that, but probably something like this. And no. It's the other way around, like that. Wow. That one is passing by close.
Feindliche Schiffe machen sich gefechtsbereit.
And another one. Yeah, that's a close pass by.
Kommandant, wir wurden entdeckt.
Yeah, okay.
Aber keine Panik. Wir machen das schon.
So at least their illumination, their flares help us to see better, but I think with all this illumination they might be able to spot our periscope.
Kurs setzen.
They might be able to spot our periscope. What's the draught? 7.5.
Kommandant, wir wurden entdeckt.
Bleibt wachsam. Aber keine Panik. Wir machen das schon. Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung 8, 3, 5 Meter. Lage 8, 2 rechts. Gegnerfahrt 7 Knoten.
Yeah, pretty risky what I'm doing here. That's for sure.
Uhr 1 geladen. Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung 6, 3, 9 Meter. Lage 101 rechts. Rohr 1 bewässern. Rohr 1 bewässert.
So please,
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren.
give me the...
Lage 9, 8 rechts.
Give me the torpedo data, please. Come on. Yeah, he's slow. It's the bosun at the torpedo calculator, and it takes him more time because he's rather unexperienced still. Give me the data, guy.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren.
Come on.
Gegnerlage 9, 7 Bug rechts. Los. Rohr 2 bewässern. Rohr 2 bewässert. Los. Rohr 3 bewässern.
Oh shit, I think I fired the sound seeker.
40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. 40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. Los. Treffer. 30 Sekunden. 40 Sekunden
Alright.
bis Torpedoeinschlag. Kommandant, feindliche Schiffe geben Alarm. Schwere Schäden.
Heavy, schwere Schäden, heavy damage.
Feindliches Schiff getroffen. Schwere Schäden. 10 Sekunden bis Einschlag.
Dead ahead, let's give that a mark. That should be another sinking. Another wreck side. Okay, 1 miss. 2 hits. That's a good ratio, isn't it?
Kurs setzen.
Yeah, maybe it's time to dive away. We really stressed our luck a bit. Let's see that we don't overstrain it. They are going down.
Die Besatzung evakuiert das Schiff.
Okay, shit. This guy is going straight for us. I think it's time to say goodbye and dive.
Kurs setzen. Tauchen auf. 150 Meter.
Sehr nah. Aktuelle Tiefe 10 Meter.
Okay. Switching to blue light again. Switching the dive planes to manual reduces the sound of the dive planes not having the electric servos anymore.
85 Meter. Kurs setzen.
Okay.
Kleine Fahrt voraus. 120 Meter.
Okay, we didn't get any tonnage registered yet. We officially sank the destroyer, but Frank Lever sunk. Okay, so now this should be, yeah, here we are at 59,000, so we got that registered, but there was another ship, I think, that we sank, but I wasn't sure whether we sank it or it might have been hit by a torpedo of another German submarine, because that was actually how it looked like, that there was another German submarine around.
Aktuelle Tiefe 150 Meter.
What is this? Oh, this noise.
Aktuelle Tiefe
Depth charges exploding somewhere. Or am I actually hitting the ground? I can't quite figure out what that noise is. No, I'm definitely not hitting the ground, but it sounds weird. Yeah, let's sound the alarm. Just to have the guys ready for damage control.
Verstanden. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Galoy.
And on battle station having the two disciplinary officers there supervising everything, yeah, makes things faster. I think we actually sank a second merchantman, which is not yet there. Maybe we have to get back up to the surface when we survive this one here, that chase, and the convoy has been on its way. On its way. Yeah, there is water seeping in. There is no serious leak, but this is just, the deeper you go, the more you have this kind of little constant offset of water seeping into the seeping in and accumulating in the bilge. We Don't have any storm torpedoes left. What's our hit ratio? Still, I think as long as it is something like 60% of torpedo ray accuracy, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, there we got pinged. Yeah, we still have plenty of spare torpedoes afore. But I don't want to load them at the moment because the loading process makes maybe too much noise and giving away my position. Yeah, so now there is a little bit of time. Sorry guys. Acquiescing, yip yep. I think I slightly neglected your coming into the stream, but yeah, it was a bit action-packed at that point in time. So, how are you? Hope you're fine. Yeah, sounds like I caught a cold, but yeah, actually I'm just fine. Sorry guys. Yeah, we got pinged.
Wasserbomben in beträchtlicher Entfernung.
Depth charts in quite some distance, so that might still be an indication that there is another German submarine around. I think it is. Yeah, crew and torpedo loading noise is reduced due to the skills of our captain. Okay, Mr. God, we don't need depth keeping anymore. So if it is like that, when they are right above us, they would not be able to detect us. So we could even turn on the pump for a few minutes to get a bit of water out of the bilge. And when they are going right above us, nobody's gonna detect us down here. Their propeller noise is should be completely masking ours. And changing course by 90 degrees. Let's hope that this is enough to let us get away. Yeah, there is so much propeller noise around. I think we can venture to load one torpedo tube. Yeah, manual steering is currently used. Depth keeping is less accurate, but it's making less noise. And down here it really doesn't matter if we are at 150 or 140 or 160 meters. Just doesn't matter.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
There were quite a lot of escorts up there. I think it was at least 5 circling around us when we finally got down. Yeah, for the destroyer that we sank, we get some Reichsmarks, some cash, some budget. But you don't get any tonnage. Because our mission actually is not to sink escorts, but our mission is to sink merchantmen. Air quality is still above 80%. Battery capacity 83. So, okay, guys, keep quiet and hope that they don't get us. Hey, Pitt. Nice to have you with us. Thank you very much for the raid. That's so kind. Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you in. And all the guys with you, welcome, all of you. So I hope you had a good Friday. And I hope we are having a good slip into the weekend. So, how was your stream, Pitt? Yeah, for us it was pretty alright. So, in the stream yesterday, we've located this convoy and intercepted it, and yeah, right now we went into it and successfully infiltrated it, having sunk 1 destroyer and 1 merchantman. I think we have sunk 2, but we have to find out later. Yeah, that's the problem around here. So we are in the same time zone and it's 1:15. Yeah, I did take a little nap before I started the stream. So, and I can sleep long tomorrow, so I think I'm still gonna do this for another 1 or 2 hours. Yeah, but I think you were doing the stream all the afternoon until now, right? When did you start, actually? I think you used to do these streams, yeah, for quite long periods, don't you? My guess, yeah. Okay, you only started at 8 o'clock, so that's kind of a decent time. 5-hour stream. That's alright, yeah. Yeah, I did a few streams this week, but they were partly pretty short, so I also did I think 2 streams which were only 1.5 or 2 hours, because I just went tired and during the week. But now I can afford to stay up a little bit longer. Hey, Scratchy, nice to have you in. Good evening. How are you doing? Yeah, we get pinged, but at the moment I still have the feeling that they have no exact clue about where we are. Yeah, Scratchy. So where's Itchy? Yeah, nice to have all of you in. So just having a few watches is perfectly fine. Even, perfectly fine if you just lurk. But let me mention, like I used to do, that I'm always happy to get some comments in the chat. Don't hesitate. Itchy, okay. He doesn't play games anymore. So convince him to play. Convince him to play U-Boat. Yeah, talking about Itchy and Scratchy. Last weekend I took the opportunity, being all alone at home, and I watched a few more series of Futurama. So, anybody remembers that series of Futurama where the professor invents the, how was it called? Smelloscope, where you can kind of watch the stars, but not with your eyes, but smell how the stars actually smell like. I mean, the Duff Man. Yeah, down here we constantly get some water into the bilge. We are back to 34 again. 80% of air quality, that's alright. So at the moment, let's give it a save, because it looks like they don't have much of a clue where we are. So we have sunk 7,000 tons, but I think I did sink another one. We have to wait it out down here and see when the convoy is moving on, and hopefully the escort is joining them. Then we can safely go back to the surface and check the debris. Okay. Hey, okay, so you were not joking, but alright. So you really had that one. I thought it was a joke, but you mean it serious. You were seriously, I mean, in real life. Itchy, Scratchy, and Duffman, yeah. Hey, hey, Scratchy. Do you homebrew? I used to do that, but I have to admit that I didn't do it for quite a few years. But yeah, I've been. Or are you actually doing that by job? So I actually never did the malting by myself. Yeah, yeah, apple cider is nice. Yeah, more than 5 years, yeah, much more than 5 years ago, we lived in Bavaria. And yeah, we actually had an apartment on a farm, on a relatively small village. And there were a lot of apple trees. Oh, shit. A lot of apple trees. And our landlord actually allowed us to get the apples. And so back then we did quite some apple cider. With Quitte. I don't know what the name what Quitte is in English. Well, if you end up with something like 8% of alcohol, that's pretty much.
Kommandant, feindliche Schiffe geben Alarm.
Zeit, unseren Mut zu testen, Männer.
Wasserbomben. Sehr nah.
I don't think that I ever reached that much, so our apples didn't have enough sugar. I think we were more about something like 5 or 6% of alcohol. Yeah, I think if you measured the density of the apple juice, you can actually determine the percentage of sugar. And I think for apple juice, you could even assume that all of the sugar is actually transformed into alcohol, right? Not like in beer, where there is certain types of sugar which cannot be turned into alcohol and give you some remaining sugar in the beer. From your granddad, yeah. Nice. Yeah, I think if you have something like 16% of sugar in the juice, you would get something like 8% of alcohol afterwards, if I remember right.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, that's it. The yeast actually turns it 50-50 to alcohol, yeah, in terms of mass. Yeah, I was never too good in chemistry, but that's at least the rule of thumb, if I remember it. Yeah.
Kommandant, wir wurden von Estig geortet.
Cat with a hangover, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty funny because in German there is a colloquial term for having a hangover. We say I have a Kater. Ich habe einen Kater, which means I have a hangover. And Kater actually is a male cat. Yeah, the tomcat actually. Kater is tomcat. And in German we also use that word. I have a tomcat, ich habe einen Kater. Like I have a hangover. Alright, guys, please excuse me for 1 minute. Now, I haven't been talking about cider and everything. Give me 1 minute to get me a glass of wine. Be back in a minute. Right, back again. Thanks for the patience. Now what I do have here, bit of grey burgundy. So, cheers guys. Great to have you with me. Yeah, they're still chasing me up there. Yeah, let's take a look at the fitness bars, but all the officers are still in good shape and not getting too tired yet. Here, looking at the blue bars under the faces. So next time a destroyer is passing by right above us, I have to remember to turn on the pumps. 70 liters of water in the bilge. It's uncritical, but it starts to be a bit of water that you don't want to have in. Hey, so on Twitch there have been coming in a few more people again. It's a pleasure to have you. Don't worry if you just lurk anonymously. I just see the number of watches going up, which is perfectly fine. But let me nevertheless try to encourage you to participate in the chat, give a hi, or tell us what you know about the game. Do you play it by yourself or just watch? Are you a new player or are you many years of experience guy? So always glad to have a chat. That's actually what I love so much about streaming, actually. I mean, I love computer games, I love to play, and I love this concept of sharing it. But what I most love about the concept of streaming is the concept of getting into contact with people who are so far away, even an ocean or a continent away. And yeah, that's the great thing. But I don't feel pushed. Perfectly fine if you just watch or lurk. But some communication or a follow or a subscription is always welcome. So there they are. Air quality just below 80%. Yeah, still uncritical. Yeah, sorry guys, I just get the message here that there is an incoming break for ads. And yeah, I mean, the ads are kind of on the one hand they are kind of a pain in the ass, but on the other hand I always try to look at it like these guys, these kind of companies who actually do the ads, they pay that wonderful tool, so we all can use it for free. And so now and then we have to take that we have this little break interruption Yeah, I minimized it. Since a while I am an affiliate on Twitch, so I actually can control it a bit, but still there is a minimum. I can't remove the ads completely. And yeah, the minimum I think is 2 minutes, which I put it to, and the minimum of having them every 30 minutes or something. And yeah, you can do it more often, but you can't do it less often. And you can't shorten it further. So it would be great if you would just stay in, although we get that little interruption with the ads. Yeah, that's the concept. If anybody would do some subscription, you get rid of the ads. Yeah, but yeah, I don't want to advertise for that in this way, because I'm not in for streaming for the money. This is why I just minimize anything about the ads. Oh, there we get pinged again.
Kommandant, wir wurden von Estik geortet.
Again, yeah. Yeah, so nice. Quite a lot of people in the stream right now on Twitch and on YouTube just as well. Yeah, still close contacts, and this guy here, for example, closing in on us. Let's be on alert.
Kommandant, wir wurden entdeckt.
Okay, it sounds like we were spotted. If that guy is passing by right above us, we are gonna turn on the pumps once more. And maybe I even would like to turn on the ventilation system to get a bit of better air quality. Yeah, alright. Let's see if they're really closing in on us. Yeah, let's see. I remember in the past when there were actions with several other German submarines around. I remember that I even got credited for sunk tonnage, which I even didn't sink myself, but which was sunk by other submarines. Did you ever have that experience just as well? Yeah, so that question to all of you guys in the stream. Did you ever had that situation that it looked like that you got credited for tonnage, which you didn't even sink by yourself, but which was sunk by another submarine, another German submarine? I had that once or twice. Yeah, looking back, I'm not 100% sure, so I would be curious if you could, if anybody could confirm that to happen. Mr. Henrik at the hydrophone. Beautiful. Even more viewers. Nice to have you in. So I hope you had a good Friday. And now we are smoothly slipping into the weekend. Yeah, looks like they actually lost us again. Yeah, we had been talking about home brewing. So, what I actually did love the most, it's just a decent stout. So to do a stout is maybe one of the most easy things to brew. Like being pretty safe to get a good result. So we were talking about sugar and that for apple cider, apple juice, you have something like, if you have a 16% of sugar in the apple juice, you would get something like half of it, 8% of alcohol. Yeah, it's a lot of work, and this is actually why I didn't do it for a while, but I still have the equipment around here, so I really should do it again. Maybe I was talking with Weight Loss. Yeah, you know him. He's also a streamer, and he knows a lot about navel, yeah, just issues, let me say it like that. And yeah, because he is a former German Navy officer, actually. But that's not the point. So we were chatting about meat. Not quite sure. Meat. Yeah, in English it's meat. What you do from honey. So to solve honey in water and then let it ferment with yeast, which is also nice, and it's less work. So with beer you always have the mashing. Is it right? Do you call it mashing? Where you turn the starch, honey wine, yeah, exactly. Where you turn the starch into sugar, and yeah, that's the big effort in beer brewing. But yeah, so that's relatively safe. If you do a stout, the stout should be having not much remaining sugar. So you would just bring it to something like 60 degrees and constantly do it at 60 degrees, mashing it, turning the yeast into sugar. And at low temperatures, when you do beer brewing, at low temperatures, the starch is turning into sugars, which are mostly turning into alcohol during fermentation. And if you do the mashing at more something like 80 degrees, you have much more sugar being created, which is not being turned into alcohol. So if you want to have a more sweet beer, then you have to do the mashing at more 80 degrees. And if you want to have a very dry, unsweet beer, just do it at 60 degrees. And that's pretty straightforward. So doing a stout, just take the right mixture of of malt. Mash it at something like 60 degrees and then cook it with some decent yeah, you see, I haven't been talking about that for a while, so I have to look for the vocabulary actually. Cook it with some decent, how do you call it? Hops, yep, some decent hops, that's it, and you will get something nice. And yeah, in general, I pretty much like stout, and the home-brewed stout, that was really, really great. I always loved it. Yeah, but maybe my next project would be honey wine made, being a bit less effort. But yeah, it might be pretty costly because, yeah, of course, the quality of the made really depends on the quality of the honey. So you shouldn't use, I think, yeah, at least from my experience, I once did it with pretty cheap supermarket honey, and the other time I did it with, yeah, high quality honey from the, and here I'm definitely missing the word. How do you call that guy caring for the bees? In German it's Imker. Imker, weird word. But I really don't know what that word is. So anybody in the chat, how do you call, in English, how do you call that guy who is caring for bees? The bee farmer, to put it like that. What's the English word? Ah, honey badger. Yeah, that rings a bell. Yep.
Wir wissen, wie es geht. Drehen wir den Spieß gegen diese Jäger.
Yeah, I think my English is fairly okayish, but so it's always funny when I really run into words where I'm completely lost and don't know them. Come on, we are still getting pinged. We are silent running. Discipline is still high at 99%. We don't have any panic in the crew. %76% of air quality is fine.
Kommandant, wir wurden entdeckt.
Yeah, okay, but
Drehen wir den Spieß gegen diese Jäger.
one more save. Yeah, 100 liters, so sooner or later I would like to turn on the pump again. Here they are, Mr. Arlos with the crew hands caring for the electric engines. So having him and two more crew hands at the electric engines always gives me the possibility to instantly go for flank speed. So I have all the other technical officers on repair station, setting up little repair teams, but at least one of the engineering officers to care for the engines, to be always ready for flank speed. Yeah, the sum of watches that I get displayed there, it's never quite consistent, and I think it does have quite a bit of a lag. So if I look separately on the screen, we have 14 viewers on Twitch and 9 viewers on YouTube, which would be in total 23, but here my overlay actually tells me it's 16 watches in total. Yeah, so all of that is already always a bit laggy. But however, you guys make me really happy. Thanks for watching, thanks for being interested in what we do here. But now, sooner or later, it would be nice if we could shake off these guys. And yeah, sooner or later, they should be on their way. The convoy is pretty dumb. The convoy has orders to just go on. I mean, that's not something like an issue of the simulation, but that was it like in reality. The convoy, the merchants had the order to just go on whatever happens. And so sooner or later the escort actually has to stop chasing me and they have to return to their convoy. But there is still one guy. At least one guy is still chasing me. Yeah, that's it. We have to live with that. Hey Luke, nice to have you in. How are you doing? Yeah, the patrol is pretty alright. So right now we are evading the chasing escort, but we were quite successful. So up there we sank one merchantman and one escort, actually a destroyer, and I think I did sink a second merchantman. We just have to confirm that back up there. Looking at the debris, not quite sure at the moment, but in principle it was a nice infiltrating at moonlight. And yeah, now we are down here waiting it out. Sooner or later the escort has to be returning to their convoy and leave us alone, but at the moment there is still at least one escort chasing us, being on our tail. So, Luke, I'm not quite sure. Is it the first time that you're in my stream? I'm always very happy, so I'm streaming in parallel on Twitch and on YouTube. And the point is that on YouTube there is quite some nice little chatty community of old acquaintances, and on YouTube people usually are not that chatty. So I'm always happy to have a few guys from YouTube also participating in the chat, giving some comments. So Colin is always with us on YouTube. That's great. And so thanks, Luke, for also being in. How are you doing? Do you know the game by heart? I mean, what's your status? Are you just watching streams? Are you playing by yourself? Are you an old salt with many years of experience, or are you just newly going into the game? Yeah, let's see, maybe they're giving up the chase. Maybe they are giving up the chase. Yeah, right now even doing some time acceleration crosses my mind, although that is always risky when you're down here still having escorts around. Yeah, up to now we got away pretty easily. So no serious damage. Well, no damage at all actually by depth charts. Yeah, I think while we did this attack there were other German submarines around for sure. We still have quite a few bow torpedoes, but no stern torpedoes anymore. So I think one of these stern torpedoes actually sank a merchantman and the other one sank that destroyer. But, well, this sinking of the merchantman is yet unconfirmed. And this is why sooner or later we have to get back to the surface and look at the debris. And see if we get that tonnage registered just as well. For now we only have registered one merchantman, that's the Frank Lever, and one escort, that's the Electra. Yeah, discipline is alright, air quality is okay, battery capacity is alright. Let's do a bit of time acceleration down here. right. That sounds a bit like it's getting louder.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Convoy?
Okay, there is somebody more or less dead ahead. Yeah, that's pretty far away, but that's maybe closer. Yeah, Colin, that's actually the point, right? I shot that T5 homing torpedo. I think in the past I actually did sink something like C3 with one of these torpedoes, but maybe not enough. But I think via the periscope I saw that guy sinking, but I'm not quite sure. So I think there should be a bit of a wreckage up there. So I marked it. This one here or this one there? I think this one. This is the one that I'm not sure about. I think there was a freighter sinking there. And that was, yeah, exactly like Colin, like you say, that was the C3. And I think it was sinking. But yeah, we will have to check.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Ich benötige Ihre Unterstützung. Folgen Sie mir.
Verstanden. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloin.